capacity, talent. Let's do liquidity then.
Liquidity, you know, and again, I would say if you're in the publicly held supply base, liquidity hasn't been as much of a challenge. Capital markets have been open. In the privately held suppliers, the liquidity hasn't been there. It is there today. It's opened up quite a bit here recently. But when you look at where they need that money, it's really coming out of tooling and CapEx. And those are still hurdles for the lenders that operate in the privately held sector, and we've got a bunch of them in the room, that struggle with. It's out there, it's available, but it's still tough for the entrepreneur to get over. Plus, you now have the entrepreneur saying, I'm resisting borrowing because I want to hoard cash because I don't want to take the challenge or the risk that maybe I fund all this new CapEx and gas prices say my volume disappears. And they're very sensitive to it. So I think liquidity, and I want to make sure we're not profitability. Everybody, if you're not profitable today, you got a serious problem. We're talking about liquidity and the ability to fund, and any time you're in a growth cycle, liquidity just by itself is a problem. But when you compound it with the restriction in the marketplace to get that and the unwillingness, it creates a problem. And what you end up with now is suppliers that, and I've talked to many of the lenders that are in this room, and in the last 30 to 90 days, they've seen an uptick, I think, of companies coming and saying, okay, now I've got to invest in some growth capital. I've got to take it on. But, you know, and the reason is because many of these suppliers are running 24/7 to meet current demand. And so I get a little concerned, is it a little too late in some of these situations, but at least they're coming to the market. So liquidity will continue to be a challenge for some of these suppliers, especially the tiered suppliers.